Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shifted Reality Season 2, Episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shifted Reality Season 3, Episode 3. Last episode, we established a bridge across the chasm that's below us, and now we need to attach it to a structure on this side here. Now we're going to continue with our construction of a large interconnected machine. But with this particular one, we're not going to use the observer effect because that can be a little bit laggy. So we're going to cut back on that. And we're going to put something that's going to extend, not quite sure how large it's going to be. It's going to basically need to give us a way to approach from over here, as well as approaching from up here, which is the primary entrance direction that people come into the base. So I placed out these spruce logs, and I'm going to use them as kind of anchor points. And I know I said I wanted to have a way to come in from this angle because quite frequently if I fall down, I'm climbing back up and coming around this way. But now that I have the corner points, I'm not seeing it. And then my first thought was, let's just put in a spanned half circle across here to kind of give that sense of support. But then I decided to go for more of a Gothic arch, which is going to have a higher peak. Now, how you do that is you basically have to do one big circle one way and the other big circle the other way. And it's kind of a little bit complicated to do it. And since this can be a little bit tricky to get right, I'm going to just start with some plain stone bricks to get the general shape, and then I'll come back and replace the stone bricks with more decorative blocks that will better encompass what we are trying to achieve. So you see how we have the assignment here. We are kind of coming up with a large circle, and then we're going to come from that point, we're going to come back down with the same section of the larger circle, and this will create more of a pointed arch rather than a gradual rounded up one. And I put in the sticking down spruce there to line up with what is at the top. And that's just so I don't lose this stone from the stone in the cliff face. Because overall, we are going to want to try and get this so it looks like it's built into the cliff face. And supported on both sides, even if that would be a impossible support point over there. But we are going for mystical, fantastical, and a little bit of whimsy this time around. Now I just gotta figure out where that arch would be for the other three sides. It's gonna be the hardest for this far side and this side, just because they aren't going to have the ability to put it directly up against the post like I can right here on this one, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so I think I have these are all in the right place. It's a little hard to tell because this clip here kind of makes everything feel a little bit off center, but I think that's all more or less across from each other and is working out as you would expect it to. So that should go straight across to there, and then there goes straight across. So yeah, I think that's right. Now, as I develop this further, I need to think, I have to remember everything that's on the inside or top of the arch is going to get a different brick palette. So the things that are here is where we need to kind of shore up and make it a little bit tighter. Because how you can really make these arches work out is if you can get the more gradual transition from here to here to here to here, you get a better looking arch system. So like this middle one we're probably going to replace with a half slab, and then these ones, I almost wish, is there any of the shelves that really work? The new shelf block, I wonder if there's any of them that really work with the any of the brick pallets. So I'm trying to figure out which color palettes line up the best. And unfortunately, none of them are coming across as a particularly good option. I mean, none of these blend well with tuft or regular stone bricks. Let's actually... Dark oak kind of works with the blackstone, I think. The red brick with the acacia wood shelf is probably one of the better matches, but I don't have a clay farm or a regular supply of masons to be getting bricks this season. The end stone kind of blends pretty well with the birch, but I don't like the... I don't think I want to go that light in color. And the one that really works the best is, of course, the mud brick with the spruce. But I don't have a mud farm. I don't have a wheat farm. That'd be a pain to get the amount of bricks that I need for this build. So I might have to go with blackstone. Blackstone and the dark oak. I think that's where we're leaning at. The important thing is it has the variations I'm going to need. So yeah, I think that's the combination I'm going to go with. Hopefully I have enough blackstone already and don't have to go up to the nether for too much collection, but we'll see. Now, it actually took me quite a while to lock in a gradual pattern that I liked for making this archway. And what I decided ultimately in the end was a gradual 3-step stage here, and then just a straight 45-degree diagonal at the top. And that, I think, makes it look a lot more balanced and well designed. I played around at the top of the arch a little bit, seeing if maybe I wanted to maybe make that like a half slab or something, but it was always too jarring of a transition. So that's why we have the solid slab at the top. And of course we put it in and got the same ones on the other 3 sides as for the parts of it that will be exposed. And we're just going to fill in all the stuff up through the one layer on the top with probably a deep slate tile wall. I think that will blend the best with the blackstone. And then we're going to do something different on top of that, mainly based on making sure it connects here to our bridge. So if you don't have a sheep farm, is there a faster way to get wool than just taking it out of an ancient city? And yeah, I'm aware I probably should have brought along a clippers, but I didn't actually think. Hey, what are you doing? Zombies aren't supposed to spawn in ancient cities. Where did he come from? And yes, I know I should have brought a pair of clippers, but you know, I wasn't actually planning on doing this. I just kind of wandered in here and I was like, wait, I bet you I could get 3 stacks of wool real quick out of the ancient city. It's supposed to be safe from random mobs like that. And the reason why I needed the 3 stacks of wool is because for the motion on this build, I'm doing the trick with the banners. They kind of come in and out of the new shelf block. Kind of gives us this little sliding bar effect. And no, I did not discover that. Someone else did. I don't remember who. Probably a hermit, honestly. That's where I most likely picked it up from. But good ideas are good ideas, and this should hopefully be less laggy than another observer chain. Alright, now let's put a floor in here, huh? So when I first started building this extension, I wasn't really sure what it was going to be other than I just needed something to finish off the bridge. And I played with a couple ideas, one of which was to, you know, maybe it's a permanent spot for the beds, but I actually think I want to put my bed up on that spot over there. So what is this section right here other than the extension of our machine? Well, these guys need a permanent home, right? So I'm just going to make a section where you can fly in with these guys, bring them into it, and, you know, park them along the wall here. That way we'll have a permanent home for them, and they won't just be bouncing around all the time. Now, I have never built a gas docking station before, so I had to go with a little bit of trial and error, and I can see now that the minimum space they can go through is a 5 by 5 space. So you just gotta figure out some way that once he's in that, he is then locked and doesn't further move. So shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so my first thought to try and keep him in was a couple trapdoors just to, a little aesthetic look and prevent him from being able to slide through. And I figured I could do the same on this side and just close them with, either a lever or some sort of redstone signal. I'm not sure what yet. However, unfortunately for me, is even at this height, that little bit of a hitbox on the 5 tall was enough to prevent the happy gas from coming in here, and then my face was getting jammed up in this log and I was suffocating. So we're not doing that. So I put in a little gap with the spruce wood on either side just because we have a completed bark color on there. And well, we're going to try again. I need something that they can pass through, but doesn't actively take up any space for them to collide with their hitboxes. So I think the only option left for that would be some sort of fence gate. But the fence gate has to be on the outside. I don't want it just floating out there. I don't think I've ever actually crafted up a tripwire hook before. I mean, all the other times I've ever needed them, I've just had the ability to, fish up enough that I've done enough fishing that I just had so many of them I did more than I ever would need. So I've never actually crafted one before. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. I got the guy in here and he's locked in. And we have our fence gates, keep him from going out that way, underneath some chiseled tuff. So I don't know if this will work or not yet, but we are going to try. We're good. Tripwire there, tripwire there, rope between the two, redstone, redstone. When we ride, we can head out. We come back in. Hop off. And he should now be locked in. And we look at that. Automatic gas docking station. Alright, well, while I'm noodling on how to potentially make this a little easier, I'm just going to add some fence posts on the corners of the build. That way if someone comes along and they can't easily return them back into their stalls, then they can always just hook them up to a lead right there. And that way if someone borrows a happy gas and they have trouble getting them back into their docking station, they can just, use a lead to tie them off into their little respective corners. And I can put them away the next time I'm on. I started putting down this tough brick floor just because I wanted something to cap off all these, log stacks that I had. But I'm kind of questioning, but then I can't really connect in the middle because of the stairs to come up here. I think this will be fine. I think we can, we can work with this. I put an arch over this spot here, so it looks complete on the outside, and extend a wall around this way. And that way I just have maybe a door in this way. And that way we have this as a little balcony that, you can walk along. Alright, let's take a happy gas out and check on our progress. Alright, the docking stations are in. The use of the arches down there, I like the general motion, the constant flags coming in and out like a pulsing energy bar really works, like it's feeding in to our overall machine here. Just to kind of keep things going, we lined up the opening on this side to be the same as what is coming across this bridge. I did consider putting this arch on this wall here, but I don't know, it could have worked as a pass-through, and maybe I might second guess my choice down the line, but I decided to just keep everything in the top level in alignment, and we'll see where that goes. But again, we're trying to make a labyrinthian type build of all these different machines and motions going on, so we'll see if we get any further in this. Now inside here, I don't really have much of an idea for an interior. I want to make a staircase that goes up to this wall and up to this wall here. And the reason I'm thinking about doing that, if we come around and look at this side, this wall is pretty plain. I mean, aside from the little entrance from where you disembark the Happy Gas down here, there's not really a lot up here to be considering. So and even though we have the motion down below, we don't really have any motion up above, and it's kind of a stark contrast to that. So I have an idea of something. It's not going to be a mechanical motion, it's going to be a active bob motion. So okay, so to top off this tower and give it some additional motion, we went with these little guys. We ended up giving them both a spear to look for, a place to put it down, and yeah, none of the chests that they have access to have a spear in it, so they are not deposited. So they just keep walking back and forth like sentry guards carrying their spears to protect our base. And I didn't really have any way to, well, keep them on one side, so they frequently switch sides and interact with each other. I'm generally kind of relying on the fact that their pathfinding is not suicidal and they won't push each other or walk off and fall to their doom down there. But we'll see how that goes. And now I have an idea of how I want to finish off the top of this. However, the way that the area currently is, it's not high enough to give me the room for how I want to finish off the top of this. And so we're actually, once I put the top on here, it's going to just be, this is just going to become another really big room. But that's okay. I don't mind. We're going big this season. How about that? There we go. Now we have our Clanker security guards marching back and forth with their spears. They occasionally run into each other, but you know, it's okay. And we have the tower all capped out. It is now the highest elevation of our build. And we'll see if we keep it there. And now I just have one last thing to do in order to tie it into how it is structuring the overall part of the machine. Like, what purpose does this particular build have to do with the machine that we are working on? Alright, and now this is what we are topping off our tower with. And I do actually need to get some green glass and finish off these corners, but I don't actually have any, cacti yet, and I need to go searching for that. But this will give us the idea of what we are working on, and I can hear what you say. But Minovate, I thought everything was supposed to have motion. There's no motion. This is just a static little light on top of your building. No, my friend. This is something much more. Because you see, if we wait for a thunderstorm, something amazing should happen. There it goes. When it is a thunderstorm, it becomes a capacitor, collecting the lightning from the heavens and filling up the batteries that powers our machine. And yes, this will be non-stop lightning strikes until the thunderstorm ends. Once it begins, it just does not stop. It just boom, 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 boom. It's all right there. And of course, once the thunderstorm passes, the dangerous lightning will also pass. That's what we have today, ladies and gentlemen. A new tower, a new extension to our base, and a mighty capacitor that is powered by nature itself. So let me know what you think of today's episode. Let me know what you think of our lightning capacitor and storage system. Well, just let me know what you think of anything. And just a heads up, I know I've been very busy this season. I have not been putting out episodes as frequently as I did last season. I apologize. I am still hoping to get to 500 this year. Like and subscribe if you've watched this far. That would really greatly help me get that way. But as always, I got a real life to live. And that includes a vacation for the next 2 weeks in Yokohama, Japan. So I don't know how much recording I'm going to be doing over the next 2 weeks. I'll try and get a little bit in here and there. And maybe I'll have an episode of something when I get back to edit together and put up on the YouTubes. But in the meantime, have a good one, everyone. Enjoy. And I will see you in the next episode of Shifted Reality. Bye.